So the other mayors from
This
Morris
is for
County and I got
entertainment
together, we sent a letter
purposes
to
for
the governor
social
and
media.
said, look, we need some answers.
Gregory, let me just start with this, right where Nate and I left off. I don't think that you can dismiss people's concerns when these things have been flying over New Jersey and other parts of the East Coast, but mostly there, for a month.
Deserve answers. The people of this city and state and region deserve answers of what the heck is going on.
The Capitol, those are not moving.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. They're here.
Can we go back in the car?
They're here, Ella.
I saw 50 drones come in off the ocean right there.
Hello everyone that's new to my channel and social media. This is Waters of Humanity, the divine waters from above the dome and the divine waters from within. Comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you so much for your support, my water beings. I love all of you. We are just a few days away from unveiling the profound truth about humanity's journey since the fall of the Garden of Eden, with Gaia serving as the womb of our existence. I have compiled insight to help humanity truly understand the significance of the New Jersey drone situation and what's going on around the world. There are two situations going on. The first one was linked to advanced secret military black programs in New Jersey, which have several underground operations. This information was disclosed by high-rank officials deeply involved in this initiative. These officials allowed the release of these shape-shifting plasmoids from the underground base.
Because when they get close to you, man, they have these dude. They're scarier than Teletubbies. Why is it just sitting like... Oh, it's coming right at us, dude. Oh my God, it's gonna come on top of us. Say something to it, honey. I don't know. Wow. Wow, dude. Holy shit, it's big, huh? Did you see it transform from an orb into the drone? That's so nuts. How does it transform like that? Listen to the sound of it, dude. Holy. It's like a jet. It's got like a jet body now. It went from being a perfect orb of fire out over the mountains, transformed into this freaking drone jet.
Additionally, the second one is my family's bloodline. It's linked to the organic blue plasmoids. It originated from the ocean, which are the cells of the living planet, Gaia. I will explain it in further details later in the video, and I felt something weird, a feeling that was telling me to look up. I suddenly felt an implicable urge to look up, and to my amazement, I spotted 3 stunning light blue plasmoids floating gracefully in the sky in a clockwork position, rotating. These perfectly circular plasmoids captivated my attention, leaving me in awe of their presence. I took measures to confirm my experience. That is not a hallucination, so I approached a man outside the grocery store and asked, "Do you see these blue lights in the sky?" He replied, "Yeah." At the moment, I knew this was a genuine event happening around us. Those same blue lights followed me up the hill, and this is where I had my encounter very close up, the plasma, Gaia's breath. I could not film it because once it got close to me, my phone died. So much love in these sentient beings. I was in joy. I was on a vibration that didn't make them scared of me, so they came down from the foggy clouds, and that's when I had my close contact.
Seeing weird things in the skies that I couldn't explain, and it just gets bizarre and bizarre and bizarre. And I start to see like in other dimensions, just weird people start to come around you that you sense that are not human. Okay, trust me, we have the power of discernment.
So I'm walking up the hill, and these light beings, they're following me. I was at Safeway, and they're like, I don't know. This is from my personal video, but like, look at that.
is amazing. I don't know if you guys can see it, but they are ready to meet me.
Now that you see my video about my experience with these beings, I want to share more. There are indeed two types of plasmoids, both which are sentient. One is organic and the one that was created in an underground facility, according to Dr. Steve Greer. The effects on human health. The electromagnetic properties of plasmoids can significantly impact human health, depending on which one, particularly for those nearby. Consider the following potential effect. EMF exposure. Elevated EMF levels are linked to a range of symptoms, including persistent headaches, dizziness, fatigue, and feeling disoriented. Ion radiation. Depending on the intensity of the plasma field, extended exposure may lead to cellular damage, including stress response in the body. Mental and emotional effects. Plasmoids can affect the brainwave pattern, causing confusion, skewed perceptions of reality, or heightened emotion response, such as anxiety or fear. Many individuals report feeling an impeccable sense of unease or increased energy in presence of these plasmoids. Now, from what I gather, I was around plasmoids. It was 3 of them. I did not feel any of those symptoms. Now, there are 2 different types of plasmoids, the ones that were created from the government, that according to Dr. Steve Greer. And I also think that those are the ones that are causing those effects to people, not the organic ones, because the organic ones are made of love.
1800s, in 1929, there were a number of breakthroughs that ended up being suppressed that had to do with creating very high voltage VHV systems so that you could create a vector into what's now been called the zero-point energy field. When Nikola Tesla died, this information that he had, which allowed for a car to run out of the ambient energy, was in documents confiscated by the FBI. And I have a Department of Defense document demanding that the FBI turn these over to the DoD. The FBI refused. By 1928 and 29, T. Townsend Brown, as well as the Kolosky-Frost experiment in physics in Germany, had determined that VHV, very high voltage systems, done in a certain resonant field could result in so-called electromagnetic-gravitic effect, the lifter effect that has been described, which you see in UFOs. They also can create what's called a space-time bubble around an object so that you can correct for 1G. This is how these objects are traveling at multiples of what any aerodynamic physics would describe, and can make right-hand turns without killing the occupants. And came back and told Roosevelt, and I quote, "They are interplanetary vehicles." So by then, there began a classified program, and which was augmented further by events, as mentioned, in 1941, and then, of course, the famous Roswell event. Those events led to, as Philip Corso describes, a reverse engineering program. As you all know from the famous Wilbur Smith document of 1951 from Canada, it talks about that flying saucers exist, but there's a high-level team headed up by Dr. Vannevar Bush that is studying the, quote, modus operandi of these vehicles. In October of 1954, a key date I want the committee to remember, we have actionable intelligence from someone who has worked in the National Security Agency and has been in the vault. All of this went deep black because they figured out at that point gravity control. So since 1954, October of that year, we have not needed rockets, jets, internal combustion engines, and surface roadways between cities. I say this with authority that this is the case. Eventually, these breakthroughs in human discovery were complemented by the study of the extraterrestrial material that were retrieved from these events that I can provide for the committee and is on the flash drive given to the Congress. The result ultimately was that there were trans-dimensional physics that began to be studied that deal with the nexus between electromagnetism, energy generation, anti-gravity, and consciousness. And we have discovered that there is a nexus, and that, in fact, there are electromagnetic systems that have been developed that can interface directly with what we call coherent thought.
Can you talk to me? Can you hear me? Jesus loves me. Oh, you know Jesus. You know Jesus. Jesus is awesome, isn't he? Yes, he is. God is good. God is good.
The same way that you can interface with a system with lasers, which is coherent light, where you sync up all the wavelengths. Ultimately, these breakthroughs were paralleled with amazing developments in the biological sciences and the experimentation with cloning. And this began many years earlier than was reported from Dolly the sheep in Scotland, and corporations for which we have witnesses who can be subpoenaed by the committees of the Congress. This was developed at the request of Congressman Christopher Cox of Orange County, with whom I met, and was later further developed for the briefing that we put together for President Obama. These facilities are the Edwards Air Force Base and subsections where at the dry lake bed where the Lockheed Skunk Works operations, Haystack Butte, China Lakes, George Air Force Base, and the closed Norton Air Force Base, where an anti-gravity device, so-called alien reproduction vehicle, for which we have the schematics, was seen by Frank Carlucci and others on our witness team. Tabletop Mountain and Blackjack Control. The aerospace facilities there are the Northrop Anthill Facility, Tejon Ranch, the McDonnell Douglas Llano Plant, Lockheed Martin Hellendale Plant, and the Phillips Lab. At the Nellis Air Force Facility, so-called Area 51, no one calls it that. There's S4 and S12, Pahut Mesa, Groom Lake, and a number of sub-facilities. The most important facility is in Utah, near Provo, the Dugway Proving Grounds, all of which is underground, and the airspace above it is classified. There are no roads into this facility. The New Mexico facilities include Los Alamos National Labs with underground connectors to the so-called Dulce area where the biological work is being done, and Kirtland Air Force Base. And the complex there includes Sandia National Laboratories, Phillips Labs, Manzano Mountain Weapons Storage Facility, Coyote Canyon, and the White Sands Complex. In Arizona, near Fort Huachuca, which is Army Intelligence Headquarters, there is a UGB underground base where one of our witnesses, who will testify, worked on 9 separate extraterrestrial vehicles that had been down through advanced electromagnetic pulse weapons. And there are several different species of extraterrestrial biologicals stored at that facility.
3 nights in a row, I've seen these 3 things flying overhead. What in the world are they? What are these quote-unquote drones?
Well, there are several phenomena happening all at once. A lot of the drones are actually, people are starting to look up and seeing things that were always there. All right, that's one thing. So it's an observational artifact, we'd say, or a skew. But the ones that really are the drones, that there are these flurries of them, those have been released in anticipation of a team of people that I've been working with for about 20 months, coming forward from 6 different black sites in the United States that deal with UFOs and extraterrestrial craft, or NHI, non-human intelligence. And once it was decided they were going to come forward between now and the inauguration of the new president, then this whole drone event started. Now, why? Because it's causing a lot of consternation and confusion. It's also causing a lot of mixed signals and sort of a diversion, so that when they begin to come forward with their evidence and information, people are going to say, well, maybe it was just all drones. Now, what are the drones doing?
Yes.
I just had here with me they left an hour ago, a contractor who has been tasked with looking into this. And he's quite convinced some are ours. They're all man-made. None of them are alien or anything like that. But letter was a sample speech for world leaders to give. And here's how that should go. Here's what right looks like. It should be announced that we're not alone in the universe, that they're not hostile, that there has been an intensive project for 75 years or more to study these objects that we have downed that are extraterrestrial, reverse engineer them, and we've had some amazing breakthroughs, some of which have to remain classified right now, but the basic energy systems that would run the planet, fix the biosphere, eliminate poverty, those we're going to work to bring out. And the other programs that have not been overseen properly, we're in the process of getting them under control. Guy called the NOC, NOC, it stands for non-official cover. So I don't want to say what his cover is yet. I mean, he'll unmask himself in the next week or two. But when I first met him, it was through an encrypted guys out of JSOC, Joint Special Operations Command, and went to some bar not far from the CIA, and he handed me a thumb drive, and I took it, and he was scared shitless when he met me. I don't know why they're all so afraid of me, but then I went and had to get someone who could help me even open it, and basically it was a 10-page explanation of this issue and this man's involvement. So he is a senior operator for an aerospace corporation and intelligence community operative at two major black sites out west. I won't say which ones.
And what's a black site for people? A black site, black ops, shadow government. I'm not sure people are familiar with these terms.
They're highly classified secret bases. Most of the activity is in a subterranean facility. Some people call them DUMBs, deep underground military bases. And you will see in the archive some photos of us above one of them.
After you saw Dr. Steve Greer explain about this phenomenon in the sky and what we're observing can be identified as plasmoids. But what exactly do we mean by plasmoids? A plasmoid refers to a self-contained entity comprised of ionized gas, plasma, embedded in a magnetic field, often manifesting in a toroidal geometry. The term was first articulated by physicist Winston H. Bostick in 1956. Plasmoids have been observed across various natural contexts, including balls of lightning, where localized plasma formation occurs during an electric storm, magnetic bubbles within the magnetosphere, where regions of magnetic confined plasma. Objects in the trails of comets were interacting with solar winds led to plasma egradiations. The solar wind itself consists of steam, charged particles, and associated with a magnetic field. Phonemia within a solar atmosphere, where solar activities can be generated plasmic structures. These occurrences highlight a diverse manifestation implication of plasmoid behaviors in astrophysical environments. These observations backspace hypotheses and conclusions that may, but not all, UAPs are actually cellular electromagnetic plasma, are supported by analysts by the British Ministry of Defence, which conducted a multidisciplinary analysis of UFOs UAP phenomenon based on information collected over 30 years. The UAP and UFO are comprised of several types of rarely encountered natural events within the atmosphere and the ionosphere. The events are almost certainly attributed to physical and electrical magnetic phenomenon in the atmosphere and the mesosphere and the ionosphere. The fact that the objects reportedly have the maneuver and acceleration attributes of interior less vehicle reinforces the apostasy that they are buoyant, changed bodies. We hypothesize based on the factual evidence that some plasmoids may be sentient and conscious of their surrounding and engage in purposeful interactions. We are in a womb, a highly intelligent sentient being that we forgot a long time ago. The organic blue plasmoids are her sentient cells. Researchers can confirm this to be true, called the Gaia hypothesis by James Lovelock. The reason we forgot is because most of us are plugged into the wrong system that was siphoning our light since birth. I managed to connect back to my axional lines, which I can feel the womb of this planet as well as other wombs and my womb outside the firmament. Matrix means uterus, womb, from Old French matrice, womb, uterus, and directly from Latin meaning pregnant being. In late Latin, womb also source origin from mater meaning mother. All the clues are right in front of us. Beneath our ocean lies an enormous body of water, 700 meters larger than ours. Scientists have developed a network of 2,000 seismographs across the United States, meticulously listen to the Earth's subtle murmurs. By analyzing signals from over 500 earthquakes, they discover a fascinating phenomenon that seismic waves slow down as they traverse particular regions of the mantle. This slowdown serves as a compelling evidence of water trapped like a sponge within the rocks, revealing a complex and intriguing nature of our planet's depths. Remember when NASA started exploring the ocean before they became United States government agency tasked with overseeing science and technology related to airspace possessing critical insight that remain unexplored? This compelling assertion that space is fundamentally connected to the ocean. And it's time for transparency regarding the information that's been withheld from the public since this pivotal shift. Understanding these connections could alter our approach to aerospace and environmental science, as well as eco-love. We are going to see this year shape-shifting extraterrestrials coming out of hiding that was living among us for a while, cloaking. The chosen bloodlines coming out of hiding, revealing that they're rightful heir to leading humanity to the crystal age of free divine love technology. And also, all the Black operation programs will be unveiled from public for scrutiny, and every person is going to get locked up with it, along with the unethical experiments conducted on Gaia and the light beings. We will put an end to the manipulation and the rigged elections. There will be no repeating of Trump administration. Only the rightful heirs of this planet will rule. This is Water of Humanity chiming out. I love all of you. Have a good day and be happy for this change. I love you. Bye.